we're talking about that military payment, guys, and it's about this. It's the $130 million. Now, the guy who paid it is Timothy Mellon. He's the donor. There he is, who gave $130 million to pay the troops. Okay? Now, here's what's crazy about this, guys. The first thing about this is, obviously, I thought it was Elon. I did. I thought it was Elon because SpaceX sold like $133 million in Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden this came up. Now, there's big problems with this because, for one, $130 million is nothing in the military budget. Okay? $130 million is like a tiny payment. It's a small percentage. It's not a long-term fix at all. But number two, though, is why during a government shutdown is a private citizen stepping in to help one side of the government shutdown. Now, I hate to say this, guys, but this is like a very socialist or Russian communist type of situation where you now have a private sector oligarch that is getting involved in government in order to help one part of the government be victorious over the other. The irony, of course, is that these LARPing MAGA shitheads are constantly crowing about, oh, socialism, communism, oh, fascism, Marxism. But then they're literally behaving that way. Trump is taking 10% of Intel. He wants to take 10% of U.S. Steel. Now they're having some rich prick fund the military. But where it gets weird is the ties to Epstein. Here's the guy, Tim Mellon. He's given $130 million to pay the troops, okay? Now, if we look at Tim Mellon, you ready for this? Let's look at who Tim Mellon's dad is. You see Tim Mellon's dad right here, guys, where it says Paul Mellon, one of the wealthiest Americans ever when he died, okay? The Mellon Bank, right? And Carnegie Mellon. You know, they're a long line of Mellon family, Ivy League motherfuckers, bro. The long family line of money. But you see that? Paul Mellon, okay? Right? That's his dad. So Paul's son has come up with $130 million. But look at this, guys. Let's look at the old Epstein flight log, shall we? This is our little Epstein flight log, which I believe is part of the dump that came out from the Epstein estate with the birthday book. Well, look at what we got on here, dude. You see a name there that you recognize, guys? Oh, look at that. Jeffrey Epstein, Paul Mellon, 2 females. Well, looky there. Jeffrey Epstein, Paul Mellon, 2 females. A little Paul Mellon and a couple of unidentified females on the fucking Lolita Express. Huh. Isn't that weird? Right? Unidentified females. No names. Yeah, I wonder how old they were. Well, isn't it weird that Paul Mellon's son is now like stepping in to give Trump $130 million to whatever? But see, that's the thing. Is this $130 million even about the troops, or is this $130 million like guaranteeing that Paul Mellon's name stay in the ether, right? Because again, guys, we have been talking about this a lot. I think a huge part of the Epstein thing goes beyond Trump's individual involvement. Okay? Is Trump in there? Is there some involvement with him and Melania? Sure there is, right? There's involvement with people, Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. There's involvement. But what I think, guys, is I think they're donors, yes. The people above Trump, the people that fund the Heritage Foundation, the Manhattan Institute, that fund all of the right-wing shit, these super PACs, the guys that have, you know, the Koch brothers, for God's sake, and all that kind of money, all of those motherfuckers are in those files, okay? All of those people. So it is like protecting a network of the wealthiest, most powerful people on the planet internationally, okay? that are in there. Some of this, guys, is not even just the sex. Some of it is the young girls and the sex, but some of it is what was Epstein good at? Dude, he was a tax dodger. He was a guy who came up with pyramid schemes and shell company schemes and ways for the wealthiest people out there to avoid paying taxes. So who knows what kind of financial improprieties and like financial connections among people that are doing dirty business. Like there could be so much in there that is like beyond just the child essay and shit. I mean, it's one of those things where we could come to find out that a large part of the American financially aristocratic, like all these family names are just ruined because they're all shady scumbags that were participating in sex crimes and money laundering and deviant connections with foreign governments and playing both sides of conflicts. I mean, it's just gotta be some deep, gnarly shit. All right, so let's look at this guy, shall we? Donor gave $130 million to pay troops is reclusive heir to Mellon fortune. Now, let's see. Did the New York Times mention this? Okay, let's see. Let's put the New York Times under the microscope and see if they talk about Paul Mellon. It says, Timothy Mellon, reclusive billionaire, major financial backer of Trump, is the anonymous private donor who gave $130 million to the U.S. government. Again, a private citizen giving $130 million to the U.S. government is like illegal, guys. Unconstitutional. It's like Soviet communism type shit. Trump announced the donation on Thursday, declined to name the person, only calling him a patriot and a friend. But two people who spoke on condition of anonymity because it was private identified him as Mr. Mellon. Again, Trump declined to identify him. He just said he was a great American citizen and a substantial man. He doesn't want publicity, Trump said. He prefers his name not be mentioned. And then the White House declined to comment. So they are still like remaining tight-lipped about it. It remains unclear how far the donation will go towards covering the salaries of more than 1.3 million troops. I mean, think about it, dude. He gave $130 million. There's 1.3 million troops. So what does that mean? Every person in the military just got $100, right? Right? That's what they got. Everybody in the military just got $100. Great. They broke the law and they shit on the Constitution. So all of the military get $100 each. Congrats. Nice job, MAGA, you fucking dinks. So Mr. Mellon, a wealthy banking heir and railroad magnate, is a longtime Trump backer who gave tens of millions of dollars. Last year, he donated $50 million to get Trump in office. Okay, $50 million, one of the largest single contributions ever disclosed. What a degenerate. A grandson of former Treasury Secretary Andrew Mellon, Mr. Mellon was not a prominent Republican donor until Trump was elected. See, guys, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Epstein connection. Right here, guys. Look at that. His daddy is on the plane. Okay? Tim Mellon's daddy was on the plane, but until Trump showed up, he never donated to Republicans. He wasn't a big donor. He wasn't a serious Republican guy. He wasn't somebody who funneled money to Republicans. But the minute Donnie Trump gets in office, all of a sudden he's one of Trump's biggest donors. Why? Because he's making sure his daddy and the females his daddy was flying on Lolita Express with Jeffrey Epstein, he's making sure that shit stays quiet. A reminder to Trump of like, you need to keep that shit quiet. Again, guys, it feels like everything in U.S. politics right now from Trump and the gang is 100% only about Epstein. The entire right wing is like Epstein and Russia. That's it. I don't know what the connection is, boss. And in recent years, he has poured hundreds of millions into supporting Trump and the Republicans. He lives primarily in Wyoming. All right. He's a significant supporter of RFK Jr., who was also on the jet. RFK Jr. also flew on Lolita Express. RFK Jr. also felt up a babysitter. I mean, kept a diary of all his infidelities until his wife killed herself. RFK Jr. is very much in this shady shit. Okay. He donated millions to his presidential campaign. The Pentagon said it accepted the donation under the General Gift Acceptance Authority. Fuck you, Hegseth. Was made on the condition it be used to offset the cost of service members' salaries and benefits. And look at this, though. It says it was a donation. Guys, it's a donation. No payback. So we have the son of a prominent Epstein traveler giving $130 million donation to the guy who is hiding the Epstein files. Huh. That's weird. It's only going to give every service member $100, so it's not really doing anything for the military. So what are they actually even doing with this money, guys? Where is this money going? It says the donation appears to be a potential violation of the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prohibits federal agencies from spending money in excess of congressional appropriations or from accepting voluntary services. Yeah, you can't just give the government a $130 million bribe, guys. And the government says, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, more, please. Oh, want me to rub your prostate? It says here in an autobiography this guy published, self-published in 2015, Mr. Mellon said he was a former liberal who moved to Wyoming from Connecticut for lower taxes and to be surrounded by fewer people. His book also contains several incendiary passages about race. Dude, you see this, guys? This is a real shocker, isn't it? That Mr. Mellon's book contains several incendiary passages about race. Oh, you don't say, right? He wrote that black people were even more belligerent after social programs were expanded in the 60s and 70s, and that social safety net programs amounted to slavery redux, which is ironic, guys, because if you look on welfare, the biggest recipients of welfare are mostly white people, guys. There's only 12% of America is black people, and only a percentage of them are on welfare. Most of welfare are red state MAGA voters, period. That's the biggest snap. Those benefits are white people in red states. Piss poor white people are the biggest recipients of that shit. White rural people, yeah. Or white people that are working at Walmart in, you know, small towns where Walmart's the only fucking employer and they're not making any money, right? Or they're working part-time in Amazon because Amazon has to pay them $14 an hour, but so it only gives them 20 hours a week because it doesn't want to give them health benefits. I mean, dude, it's fucking crazy. Like how much of the SNAP and welfare shit is just subsidizing corporations that exploit workers and don't pay them enough wages or limit their schedules. If they pay them high wages, they limit their schedules so they don't have to give them health benefits. I mean, the whole thing is a con. Mr. Mellon wrote another book in the summer of 2024. The book was put out by Skyhorse Publishing. So look at that. His book was published by the same company that published Melania Trump's memoir. Okay. And Tony Lyons, the president of Skyhorse, co-founded a super PAC that backed RFK. So these guys are all in cahoots. But look at that, dude. The New York Times, though, didn't mention this, guys. You see that? The New York Times failed to mention this. Huh. Isn't that weird? That is a real problem, boss. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.